My panties have been disappearing for months. And you won't believe who's been stealing them. My neighbor's 15-year-old son. I don't even know how he got into my house. I feel violated and I don't know what to do. Hi Reddit. I'm honestly a mess right now, and I'm not even sure where to start. I feel like my privacy and safety have been completely shattered, and I don't know how to handle what happened. I'm a 29-year-old woman living alone in a quiet neighborhood. I've always been pretty private and kept to myself. My next-door neighbors have a teenage son, Jake, who's 15. We've exchanged friendly hellos but never been close or social. Just polite neighbors. Around 6 months ago, I noticed something strange. A pair of my underwear was missing. It was a cute, lacy set I loved, but I didn't panic. I figured maybe I dropped it somewhere or left it in the laundry basket. But then it happened again and again over the next few weeks. I'd find my underwear drawer lighter and lighter. The worst part was, it was only panties. No socks, no bras, no other clothes. Just my panties. And the pairs I noticed missing were always the ones I liked the most. The colorful, lacy ones. Not the plain cotton underwear I kept for everyday use. At first, I thought maybe it was the washing machine eating them. I've heard that's a thing. Or maybe the laundry lady. I hired a cleaner occasionally. But the cleaner was shocked when I asked, and the washing machine seemed fine. I started locking my bedroom door every night and started checking windows and doors before I left. Nothing seemed off. No broken locks or windows. No signs of forced entry. Eventually, I installed a small, cheap motion-activated camera in my bedroom, aimed at my closet and dresser. I hoped to catch what was going on. But the thefts continued. I even changed the locks on my front door, just in case, but the panties kept disappearing. I felt like I was losing my mind, scared, and violated, but didn't know what to do or who to tell. Last week, everything came crashing down. I got home unexpectedly early one afternoon, and the front door was slightly open. My heart started racing. The house was quiet, but when I stepped inside, I heard footsteps upstairs. I called out, "Hello? Who's here?" No answer. I walked into my bedroom and there he was, Jake, the neighbor's son, standing there with a backpack open and my panties inside. He looked frozen, like he'd been caught doing something he knew was wrong but couldn't stop. I asked him how he got in, why he was stealing my underwear, and what he was even thinking. He started crying, saying it started as a stupid dare from his friends, but then he just kept doing it. He said he didn't know how to stop, that he felt weird and ashamed, but it had become a compulsion. He apologized over and over. I called Jake's parents immediately. They were shocked and devastated but promised they'd handle it. They thanked me for telling them. I'm torn between wanting to be understanding because he's a kid and feeling so violated and unsafe in my own home. I've been told by some people I should call the police or talk to a lawyer, but I'm worried about the consequences for Jake. I'm scared about how this will affect my relationship with my neighbors or the neighborhood vibe. I still don't know how he was getting into my house all these months without me noticing. I've triple-checked all locks and windows, and nothing is broken or tampered with. Feel unsafe. Feel exposed. I keep thinking about how many times he was in my space without permission. How many panties he took and what he did with them. I don't know how to move on. I've started locking every door and window obsessively. I feel like a prisoner in my own home. Reddit, I'm at a loss. Should I call the police and report this? Should I get legal advice? Should I reach out to social services or a counselor? For Jake or for me? Should I confront his parents again? Or is this something that's better handled quietly? I want to feel safe again, but I'm scared of making things worse for everyone involved. Any advice or support would mean the world to me. Thank you for reading. Still shaken and unsure. Update. The fallout after I caught my neighbor's son stealing my panties and confronted the family. I'm still shaken and it's complicated. Hey Reddit. First, thank you so much to everyone who took the time to read my last post and offer advice. Your support has meant more than I can say. I want to share what's happened since that terrifying day I caught Jake, my neighbor's 15-year-old son, in my bedroom with my underwear. It's been a roller coaster of emotions and complications. And honestly, I'm still struggling. As I mentioned, I immediately called Jake's parents after catching him. When they arrived, they were genuinely shocked and upset, the kind of parents who had no idea their son could be capable of this. They apologized profusely, thanking me for telling them directly instead of involving the police right away. They promised me they would take the situation seriously, saying they'd get Jake professional help and restrict his freedom to make sure this never happened again. They even offered to pay for counseling for me if I wanted it. I appreciated their willingness to take responsibility, but I also felt a heavy weight of distrust. I was grateful for their reaction but worried about what this meant for my safety going forward. Over the next few days, they told me they installed new locks on Jake's bedroom door and took away some of his privileges, including his phone and social media access. They said he started therapy right away and seemed remorseful but was very quiet about everything. They asked me to let them handle this quietly to protect Jake's future, and they hoped the family and neighbors would be supportive. I only saw Jake a few times since then, always avoiding me, head down, clearly ashamed. The first time I bumped into him in the hallway, he practically ran away. I want to believe that he's a kid who made bad choices and deserves a chance to grow and learn, but it's hard to reconcile that with the violation I feel. I keep picturing him in my bedroom, rifling through my things, taking my underwear. I don't feel safe anymore. Every time I come home, I check every door and window multiple times. I've installed a new security system with cameras that cover every entrance. I even bought a small safe to keep my most personal things locked up. My bedroom door is locked 24/7. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, heart pounding, imagining someone breaking in. It's exhausting. I feel like my home, which used to be my sanctuary, has been invaded. I didn't expect word to spread, but it did. Some neighbors have approached me quietly, offering sympathy or sharing stories of their own weird experiences with Jake or his family. But there's also been judgment. I overheard a few whispers about me making a big deal or ruining a kid's life, and some neighbors have started avoiding me altogether. The family that used to be friendly now barely speaks to me. It feels isolating and makes me question whether I did the right thing by speaking up. Torn. Part of me wants to forgive Jake because he's just a kid and clearly struggling. But another part of me is angry and hurt. I don't know if I'll ever be able to see him the same way again, or if I even want to. I've been having nightmares and flashbacks, and sometimes it feels like I'm carrying this invisible weight everywhere I go. Because I'm still so unsure, I've started looking into my legal options just to understand my rights and what I can do if something happens again. I'm also trying to find a therapist who specializes in trauma and boundary violations to help me heal and process all of this. Some people have encouraged me to report this to the police, but I'm terrified of what that might do to Jake and the neighborhood dynamic. I want to feel safe again in my own home. I want to be able to trust my neighbors and walk down the hallway without anxiety. But right now I'm scared, uncertain, and struggling. Thank you again to everyone who's listened. If you've experienced anything similar, or have advice on healing or handling the situation, please share. I'm trying to take it one day at a time. Still shaken, but hoping for peace someday. Update. I decided to involve the authorities after catching my neighbor's son stealing my panties. Here's what happened. Hi Reddit. After a lot of sleepless nights and wrestling with fear, confusion, and guilt, I finally made the decision to report what happened to the police. I want to share how it went and what I'm going through now, in case anyone else faces something similar. At first, when I caught Jake, my neighbor's 15-year-old, in my house with my underwear, I called his parents and they promised to handle it privately. I was hesitant to escalate things because he's a kid, and I worried about ruining his life. But after days of constant anxiety, nightmares, and feeling unsafe, I realized I needed to protect myself first. I kept asking myself, what if it happens again? What if he never really stops? I couldn't live like that, scared and feeling violated in my own home. When I called the non-emergency police line, they took me seriously. A female officer came to my house to take a full statement. I showed her the security footage I'd managed to capture. Though it wasn't crystal clear, it was enough to confirm someone was entering my bedroom when I wasn't home. She was very professional and sensitive. She explained how cases like this are handled and reassured me that they would take precautions to keep me safe. The police contacted Jake's parents officially, and the situation quickly escalated. Jake was questioned with his parents and a social worker present. It turned out this wasn't the first time he'd been caught stealing items, though nothing on this scale. The social worker suggested he might be struggling with compulsive behaviors and referred him to specialized therapy. Jake's parents were required to cooperate fully, and there was talk about possible juvenile court involvement if the behavior continued. It's been a few weeks since the police got involved. The immediate threat feels lower. There have been no further incidents, and I've received extra patrols in my neighborhood for a while. But emotionally I'm still raw. I'm relieved that my home feels safer and that the authorities are aware. But I also feel conflicted. Jake is still my neighbor, and though I understand he needs help, part of me struggles with anger and betrayal. Trust your instincts. If you feel unsafe, don't hesitate to seek help. It's okay to prioritize your safety, even when it's difficult. The legal system can be a resource, especially when dealing with ongoing safety concerns. Therapy and counseling are vital, both for victims and for those who commit these acts, especially when they're minors. I'm continuing therapy to deal with the trauma and rebuild my sense of security. I'm also working with a lawyer to understand my rights and how to protect myself better. I'm hopeful that Jake will get the help he needs and that the family will take this seriously. Thank you all for the support and encouragement. If you're going through something similar, please know you're not alone, and it's okay to ask for help, even if that means involving the authorities. Stay safe out there, trying to heal and move forward. Final update. Months after reporting my neighbor's son for stealing my underwear, here's how I'm really doing now. Hi Reddit. I wanted to write one last post to bring closure to this wild, upsetting chapter of my life. It's been several months since I made the painful but necessary decision to report my 15-year-old neighbor Jake for repeatedly breaking into my home and stealing my underwear. I shared a lot of raw emotion here, and the support I received was more powerful than I expected. So I wanted to update you all, especially anyone who's been following or going through something similar, with where I am now. After the police got involved, Jake was referred to a diversion program focused on juvenile behavioral intervention. It turns out there had been small incidents in the past, petty theft and boundary issues, that his parents had chalked up to boys being boys. I'm not here to villainize them, but I will say, dismissing red flags doesn't help anyone. Since that day, I haven't had a single incident. No missing clothes, no strange noises, no signs of someone entering my home. And Jake, I haven't seen him once. His parents keep to themselves now. They stopped trying to be friendly, but honestly, I'm okay with that. I needed distance, and I think they did too. The biggest shift has happened inside me. For the longest time, I carried this heavy cocktail of fear, guilt, and shame. I kept wondering, did I overreact? Should I have just let the family handle it? Did I ruin a kid's life? Therapy helped me unravel all of that. And here's what I've learned. I didn't overreact. I didn't ruin anyone's life. I set a boundary and I enforced it. Jake needed consequences, not punishment but accountability. His family needed a wake-up call. And I needed to reclaim my sense of safety, because I'd been living in fear for too long. I invested in serious home security, reinforced locks, smart cameras, and motion sensors. Not because I expect more danger, but because I needed to feel in control again. I also made some symbolic changes. I redecorated my bedroom. I donated what was left of my old underwear and bought a new set. Not because I needed to, but because it felt like a small act of reclaiming my body and space. Every little choice, from locking my front door with confidence to walking around my apartment in pajamas without fear, is a small victory. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, even if you can't prove it yet, listen to that voice. Document everything. Evidence gave me power when I felt powerless. Don't let guilt override your right to feel safe, especially when minors are involved. It's okay to be compassionate and firm. Healing isn't linear. I still have moments of anxiety, but I'm not living in fear anymore. That's huge. I won't be posting about this again. This is the final chapter. I'm closing the book. Not forgetting, not minimizing, but moving forward. If you're reading this and going through something that makes you feel unsafe in your own home, please don't wait for things to get worse. Your peace of mind matters. Thank you again, Reddit. You helped me find my voice when I felt small, safe, healing, stronger.